Hello, and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. And today, I've been really thinking a lot lately, thinking about a lot of topics. One reason is because I have literally about four, five, six books, either the ideas, the platforms, the or writing them at the same time because writing the superhero book with Abby as the main character because I have more than one superhero novel series, which I'm like, yay, because I love the whole premise of it. But then also the way that I'm writing it, I'm just like, oh, is it I keep second guessing myself, but I have a friend and her daughter that are in like two generations, that the perfect two generations that I would love to read. So they're gonna test read the first 4 or 5 chapters. So I'm really excited about that because part of me was like, is it dragging? I don't know. But then I have to remember one reason I love comic books. It's like it's not like they're dragging, but they're like each one shows like kind of a different scene, but it's in order to get through. Yeah, sorry, I'm taking it. In order to get through the entire storyline, you need more than one comic book. And yes, mine is a lot longer and things like that, but I feel like kind of like the comic books, I'm given more of the detail. Like in written form, I have to give more of the details since I don't have the drawings. But that gave me another idea. So yeah, I have to talk to my illustrator and everything about once I can afford it. But yeah, because disability life, yeah. And especially now companies are trying to take, or they are taking away diversity, equity, and inclusion, but they don't realize how much people with disabilities need. Like they think some companies only want to hurt certain demographics, especially African American, which I am African American too. So yeah, that sucks, and it is awful for being black, but then also at the same time, disability. I can have too much of a series on all of the ways, especially job related. I have ran into ableists. I have run into people who no longer wanted to give me the job once they saw how I walked, or they would throw in the elevator. It's like I interviewed at this one school. I want to say I'm trying to think of what city it was near because I want to put them on blast. If I can even remember the name of the school, I will say it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. This was like six about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 year yeah, about 6 years ago. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to go back through my Googles for like, because yeah, I keep too much. And it's like for some reason years ago, I'm like, I might need this later. I might need this as evidence. But I'm like, as evidence, what do you mean? Yeah, it was meant for this channel because a lot of the companies that treated me wrong, treated me badly, yeah, I still have some of the proof that I had the interview with them. And it's like they might lie and say, "Oh, we didn't blame it on the elevator." Don't lie. I was there. I was sitting there when you said it, and or some companies, well, two companies in their own different ways basically said, you would be a distraction to our clients. You would have to already have been sitting in the room because you're very impressive. You're smart. We know you would be an amazing person to this company, but the way that you walk, we would probably lose clients because if they see that you walk like that, that would scare them away. We're just being honest. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, now you sound like my mother. It's like because after she says that, then I start getting into tears because I can't cry at the interview because I know exactly what they're saying and I know they don't want to hire me. But like when my mother would say stuff like that, it's like I'm an emotional being. I don't care. I'm sensitive. It's like, and maybe some people might call it not being sensitive, but I was told all my life. And you know what? Yeah, I'm a crier. And it's like, especially with certain things that went on in my life, I feel like I'm fighting a war. If you throw a certain type of arsenal at me, I will get emotional. And but it's like at the job meetings, I would wait until I found a rush up. Like if I knew where the restroom was or anything like that, I would wait for it to be there. If I didn't know where it was, I would try to hold it until I got into my car, especially in a parking garage or whatever, where I can kind of hide in a corner or whatever. But yeah, I will talk all about that. And sorry, yes, a long pre intro into, but just know that I'm going to be talking a lot about the DEI and how taking it away takes away my opportunity to be able to get back into the workforce. Because when I was teaching in the inner city, well, one, they hated me because I actually put effort and I wanted to educate these students. And especially and it's really sad, pathetic, disgusting, and vile, and pathetic and ignorant. And in some ways, I want to say racism, but it's like it's black on black educational crime. When black teachers are literally telling the students to not listen to me, to not want to be educated by me, to not want to participate because me educating them will make them white. Me trying to get their reading level higher than third grade, majority of the eighth graders were at third grade level. You should have been in the classroom with me, listening to these students read. It was torture. And it's like, because I'm trying to help them. Like, some people are like, that's mean. That's the truth. Because, okay, this episode is going to be the start of, a kind of a gray sheep episode and talking about seasonal depression and things like that. But I've got to say this, and I'm going to say it a lot, because the education and the lack of education, and how a lot of these kids think since I have the internet, I'm going to be smarter than my parents, even though I can hardly read, even though I hardly know anything, even though I don't want to be educated, even though I don't want to pay attention, and I don't know how to listen to something that's longer than 30 seconds to 5 minutes. If I see something that's 20 minutes and it's not a Marvel movie, or it's not or Bridgerton, or something that's going to be entertaining in the point where it doesn't provide education, I don't want to be bothered with it. Like, what? But then they say they're smarter than us. And yes, they're smarter at being villains. Because if you knew how many students that I even had in the college atmosphere, they would do anything and everything to get out of doing the work. And part of me is just like, if you put just half of that energy into the actual work, you would actually have a decent grade, a good grade. Because I don't grade, like, I don't want to say I'm an easy professor, but at the same time, I understand. You're going through life, and especially as the Zennials, a lot of them are just, yeah, I'm putting you on blast. I don't care. I put everyone on blast. I put myself on blast. I know the mistakes I've had in life. And I also know cause and effect, and I know how, but you know what? Different story for a different day. So I don't want people acting like I think I'm perfect, because I know I'm far from it. That's one reason I do this channel, because I have learned how to view different things in different aspects. But when I have had students refuse to do the work, and then they ask me for their grade, and I'm like, you see your grade. But then they threaten me. When I say they're threatening to hurt me, to the point where we have to call the cops, we have to get the security and the cops. And the father of the, because, oh yeah, the student, okay, oh, I need to I think I've told parts of the story, but I've literally had students call up their family members to jump me. And then I had a student literally accuse me of calling him a racist, but I didn't call him one. A student asked me if I thought he was, and I said, well, sometimes the truth kicks you where the good Lord splits you. And it's like when I remember we had with 5 or 6 of the students, we had a discussion because of these two students had no problem talk degrading people and talking about racism is over with, so why don't you just get over it? And one of these students was a person of color. One of these students was a person of color. And then at the end, they decided to lie and degrade me. They decided to lie and degrade, like, they didn't put any of the work in. They were lazy. They refused to listen to any of the, like, and the thing is, like, with my master's in teaching and training with technology, I know how much more information you get from listening to reading. And I know the reading level in America is highly low. So I was trying to give the opportunity for more students to be able to get more information. I was trying to find like professionals on YouTube that would be beneficial. And like a lot of students say, oh, class feels like I'm only at a community college, and but then they got kicked out of state or U of M or one of the good like universities in Michigan, but then they're complaining, but then they don't want to do the work. And it's just like, hold up, wait a minute, back it up. It's like, no, how are you complaining? Because then when I try to give them the best quality education as possible, sometimes even spending my money so that we can have supplies so that they can work and create things and feel like an authentic advertising marketing company. But no. And it's like with working while being a woman, while being black, while having a disability. People judge me on a daily basis. People say I couldn't handle my job, or I can't do my job, even though I was doing the job very well. Even though I had students years later, like, come by my classroom to thank me and to say, oh my gosh, I'm starting either my own channel or my own product. And it's like the videos that you like, 'cause especially there are 2 or 3 specific like videos that I shared with them, and I broke it down on why the creators were wrong with it, sometimes comparing it to articles or the textbook and things like that. But it was amazing how the students that paid attention, it was amazing. Because I've got 2 right now from the same semester doing their thing, starting their career, starting like, and doing it independently. Do you know how proud I am? But then I've got haters. And these type of haters are the same type that majority of the time I've had to go to job interviews and sit there, and I would have to prove myself. And to the point where then they're like, oh, you're overqualified. So then at the next interview, I dumbify. And it's like literally on my resume, I'm taking off education. I'm taking off experience because it's like I have to have 5 different versions of my resume just to try to be considered. I have to change my name on my resume because I've had jobs tell me that I I don't know how to spell my name. I've had companies tell me that I don't know how to spell my own name. I lost out on a full-time career path opportunity. I was like, it was up to myself and 2 other people. Went to the job interview, and the employer they kept being so impressed. And it's like, because there's a question that I ask my students every semester on their final. Well, not every semester, like the last 3 or 4 years that I ask them. And I tell them to pick 3 states. What 3 states are you going to focus on first for your advertising? And I've even added this to one of my characters in the novel, because a lot of people always target and always try to think of the same exact thing. And it's just like, no, that's not, no. People always target like the population, the number of people. And I remember one of the interviews I was at, they asked me some questions, and it was kind of marketing related, and I brought up specific states that they possibly or should target, and why I think they should have used that billboard for this state instead of one of the ones that they chose, because the demographic didn't fall in line, especially like even when you look at the conferences in that state and the amount of businesses that focused in that state and things like that. And I just remember that that owner was looking at me like, who, what? Oh, really? Like, you did your homework, you did your thing. But when I try to teach my students in the classroom, they think they know everything. So when I ask them that, because I throughout the semester, I teach them how to do it. But then all of a sudden, majority of the like only like once or twice out of all those semesters did the students actually do what I taught them to do. Because then all like, I remember there was a golf project group that they failed that so badly. They're like, yes, the most people in these states, and they're the most populated. And throughout the entire semester, they yeah, let's just say it was a joke. They treated my class like a joke, and one of them got kicked out of one of the top, like, yeah, it's like, okay, I won't say which school, but yeah, got kicked out. But then complained in my classroom, complained in my classroom, and it's to the point where you have no right to complain if you're not willing to do the work. And then when I show the students my businesses and how I'm the things that I am teaching them, how I am using it, and like, okay, if you're gonna call me Professor Cripple or the disabled wannabe, or like yeah, I had quite a few like crippling nicknames, disgusting, crude, ableist nicknames, and some of the staff didn't care. Some of the like, and the thing is, like, yes, I have a questionable relationship with cops, because you guys already heard some of the stories I've told you about one like literally fondling me for 15 minutes over my college graduation tassel. Yeah, but then yeah, when especially white women hear me tell the story, because like, okay, white guys, white people, if you want to hear about the racism that we face, don't all think that we're like that one guy from Power. It's like a lot of us have actually lived through the racism. We've had to face things that you will never have to face. And also, if you think I'm pretty, don't tell me I got pulled over because the cop was trying to get my attention. The cop was trying to get my number, because you don't get my number by trying to fondle me. You don't get my number by following me for 15, 20 minutes to my house and then have the nerve to tell me that I don't look like I live at that house. And so, like, I already get judged enough by cops. I get judged enough in the classroom. I get judged when it comes to job interviews. And sometimes as a woman, sometimes as a person of color, and now officially, because I wasn't diagnosed until like 2021. Wasn't officially diagnosed until 2021. So when people had like at job interviews and things like that, when people were watching me walk the way I did, and they're like, is that permanent? Are you going to get that fixed? Are you going to have surgery? You're too pretty to walk like that. Oh, it's like, oh, I hope that's not gonna be how you walk when I hire you. And it's like, why do you think I'm gonna change? It's like, you think I'm pretend, like, because some companies literally thought I was pretending. And I remember there was one job, and it was like physical therapy related in a way, but I just remember that she just kept watching me. And it was to the point where when it was time for her to test my working skills, even though you only got paid by the people who would sign up, but she would literally, like, after watching me and her guessing why I walked the way I did, she would sit me down and tell me to pick up the phone and start calling random strangers to like try to sell the product, to sell her product to them. Like right after she is, oh, well, look at this and do this and that. Oh, and test this and do that. And it's just like, do you know how uncomfortable that is? And then when she says that I don't have the job, she is trying to offer me her services. And when I tell her that I don't feel comfortable because of the way she treated me, she just tells me that, oh, you're just too sensitive. But yeah, and this isn't even the topic that was up in my mind and everything. But just know that I think one reason I started off with this is because of seasonal depression and the emotions. And a lot of times, especially it's near the end of the year and it's getting colder, people are inside more. It gives us more time to think and also reflect. And especially if you've been through a lot of family trauma, this is a time where most people, you have to start seeing the family. And oh my gosh, guys, Thanksgiving, I was like, maybe I should have started this before Thanksgiving, but yeah, it's like I'm trying to make sure my book doesn't disappoint. I'm trying to make, like, emotionally, I'm stressing out and then having anxiety and everything like that because I'm just like, is it good enough? Is it good enough? My mom always told me that I better not be a writer. I better not, like, so trust me, like, all of the things that my mom used to tell me, it keeps going on in my head while I'm trying to write my books right now. It's like, and it happens throughout the year, but during the holidays, it's so much worse. So much worse. And especially, like, I got diagnosed right around the holidays and I couldn't walk right around the holidays. So many life-changing events had happened. Oh, I had one of my surgeries. Literally, oh my gosh, I think it was the week before Thanksgiving. Yeah, I had one of them. Yeah. So, oh, and I still remember, like, yeah, there's a funny story that I'm gonna have to tell soon about what happened right after my surgery. And it was just one of the oddest, stupidest things. And even stories about the day of my both surgeries, because one, my now ex, I dated this man for 7 years. And actually, this is one of the episodes I was thinking of doing today. But here is some advice for those who are going through seasonal depression because either they're single and they feel alone and they feel like no one loves them or appreciates you. Love yourself. Know the value of yourself, because once you do that, you will be able to be happy that you are not tolerating the mistreatment from others. Because I dated a man for 7 years. And if you if you've been listening to the episodes, you already know the drill. You already know some of the stuff that he allowed to, like, me to go through. And it, like, I knew he was awful, but I kept tolerating it because part of me, like, and everyone around me, his neighbors, his own mother and his aunt and a lot of his family. Oh, well, you know how his ex-wife was. Once he gets over that, he's going to be so much better because he sees how amazing you are. Oh, it's like he couldn't find better than you. Which, no, it's like, as long as he found somebody with a large chest, he would have been happy. He doesn't care. He doesn't have a heart. That's why I named him Mr. No Heart. It's like, literally, Mr. No Heart. He has no feelings for anybody else but himself. Not even for his own daughter sometimes. He will try to make sure that he's a father, but only I sometimes it felt like it was only so he can be looked at in a positive way. Just so that no one can say that he wasn't a father or he wasn't putting effort in it. And that's my opinion because that's how it felt. And also the fact that when he didn't feel like doing the job because he was playing video games, he would just tell me to do it. And he didn't thank me either. He didn't. And I did some of it from the bottom of my heart because for the oldest daughter, I cared about her. It's like sometimes it felt like, like I am proud to be an honorary stepmom. With the youngest one, that's a different story for it. Like, oh, I'm going to tell some stories on that. Like, I've already told some, like, way back. And I'm going to start redoing some of the episodes once I'm going to finally get that microphone. I keep saying that. But if you don't know how it is to be with this, like, living a disability life and over 30 years, you weren't diagnosed because the doctor said the pain was in your head. You're making it up. You just wanted attention and stuff like that. And so now it's gotten to the point where now I have to save up money to afford different things that will allow me freedom and liberties and things like that. And also try to find a career job that's going to accept my disability and situation. And also family members who at the beginning they were like, you have no excuse. It's like you're a twin, you should be just like your twin. Why aren't you like your twin? And your parents say that you're just stupid, that you're not smart, that you're never going to do anything in your life, even though they didn't even finish college and I did. But then after I finished college, they still say I'm stupid. But then I finished college, but then they keep telling my parents I must not have finished college because I didn't go to graduation. Oh, I still haven't told you guys about why I never went to any of my college graduation. See, in this, yeah. So when I tell you guys I have seasonal depression, I have a lot of heartache. I have a lot of trauma that has happened. And oh yeah, because my graduation would have, for my bachelor's would have been in December too. And I know years ago, like every December, I would think I would have crossed the stage around this time. I think it would have been December 6th. 6th or 7th, something like that would have been my graduation day. But I forgot the exact day, but I think it was one of those. So when it comes to November and December, it mostly just means heartache and pain and remembering how no one thought much of me. No one valued me. But anyways, yeah, so that's a lot of it. So let's just say it's going to be a lot more dating nightmares and emotional trauma that relates to seasonal depression and the gray hat, like the not gray hat, the gray sheep society. But maybe I should get some gray hats or, oh my gosh, yeah, you know what? That came out for a reason. So you know what? Look, yeah, we're gonna do that. And I'm going to start talking about shows, movies, and things, especially from a villain hero perspective. So, and also, I'm going to do another episode on the Nerd Channel soon. I keep saying that, but trying to, yeah, you guys know what I'm working on. And actually, I'll do an episode on everything that I'm working on and how I'm choosing the products, or because I need to buy the paper to create the greeting cards and the stationery and everything like that. So, okay, anyway.